Take control of the numbers and supercharge your small business with Xero. That's Xero. With our easy-to-use accounting software with automation and reporting features, you'll spend less time on manual tasks and more time understanding how your business is doing. 87% of surveyed U.S. customers agree Xero helps improve financial visibility. Search Xero with an X or visit xero.com/ACAST to start your 30-day free trial. Conditions apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
The kettle's boiled, Vic.
Great. Perfect timing. Just a dash of milk for me, please, mate.
Here you go. Shall we get started then?
Have you ever woken up on a Sunday morning and said, I'm never drinking again, and then found yourself waving $50 at a barman by happy hour?
Are you wondering why everyone else can stop at 1 while you head to a dodgy after-party with a weird bloke called Disco Dave? If so, it might be time to take a deeper look at your relationship with your reliable social crutch, alcohol.
On each episode, we'll investigate our own dysfunctional dealings with booze and find out if it's possible to stop this deeply ingrained habit before things get too messy.
Yep, we're going to open up a shame shed of humiliating drinking stories to help you understand why waking up from a booze coma each weekend with a kebab sticking out of your top pocket might actually be negatively impacting your health.
Hamish and I are here to delve into what it's like being sober, an unwanted warts and all look into why giving up those cheeky pints or putting down those mummy wines will make you feel happier, help your anxiety and mental health, and turn you into the most sparkly, authentic version of you.
Won't that mean I become boring though, Vic?
Well, Hamish, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm Victoria Vanstone.
I'm Hamish Adams-Cairns.
And this is Sober Awkward.
So Vic, before we get into today's episode, I need to tell you something that might make you grimace or it might make you laugh, okay?
I'm ready.
So I've now been sober for, 2 and a bit years. And my first 2 weekends back in Sydney, I went to the pub because I love live music and I like the pub. And we met friends who had kids similar sort of age. Anyway, Sonny has started going to daycare with one of these kids. On his first day at daycare, this child ran up to him across a busy room of children and parents dropping off kids, saying, oh, "It's Sonny from the pub! It's Sonny from the pub!" I now have a child who is nicknamed Sonny from the pub because I went to the pub twice, basically having hardly gone at all for 2 years.
Oh, God, that's hilarious. He's got a reputation.
I know.
Does
that make me a bad parent, maybe?
It took me 40 years to get rid of my reputation, so hopefully he doesn't build it up and make it any worse. Maybe he's peaking early, Hamish, and this will be the demise from now on in.
Yeah, we'll get it out of the system.
Yeah.
And you are recording this episode from an island off Thailand. Your life is extraordinary to me at the moment. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of an island called Koh Jum. The internet is terrible, so I apologise if this goes horribly wrong. I just nearly fell off a motorbike because it's been raining here, and I went to a Thai boxing class and the wheel was going all over the place, but I'm okay. It is in the middle of nowhere. I'm kind of in the jungle. There's monkeys outside the windows, all sorts of noises going on around, so apologies in advance if this goes awry.
I wish I was there. My greatest fear during this episode is that my 2-year-old will wake up midway through it. So yes, I'd much rather be in your shoes on a Thai island, to be honest.
Yeah, this is the thing with these remote episodes, isn't it, a little bit? I hope the audience can be a little bit gentle with us because the sound quality isn't great and weird things happen throughout. So yeah, apologies.
It'll all edit together beautifully. There will not know anything that goes wrong.
I hope so. Yeah.
Now, as much as we like to keep the podcast as light-hearted and as fun as possible, every now and then a piece of world news breaks, which hits us in such a way that we feel we need to discuss it on the podcast.
As you may have read, 6 lives were recently lost to a suspected methanol poisoning in Laos. They were Simone White, a 28-year-old lawyer from the UK.
James Louis Hudson, a 57-year-old American. Danish citizens, 20-year-old Anne-Sophie Orkild-Koyman and 21-year-old Freya Venevald Sorensen.
And 2 best friends, Bianca Jones and Holly Bowles from Melbourne, who were just 19.
Earlier this week, we received an email from a listener in Melbourne who knew the girls. She said, "It has totally rocked, shocked and shattered our community. Please, can you help raise some awareness about this? I want young people to be educated in the dangers of methanol poisoning. I feel embarrassed that I was not even aware of this being a thing."
Yeah, thank you so much to Tamara who got in touch with us. She also said that her 19-year-old son headed off to Vietnam and Cambodia earlier this year. She said she did speak to them about scooters and the dangers of being a target of theft. But she said she did not mention that you should only drink sealed drinks or bottled alcoholic beverages. I'm not sure anyone would mention that, honestly.
No.
She said what happened to Bianca and Holly could have easily happened to anyone else. So I totally agree.
And in watching some of the news clips of their parents on TV, I felt a responsibility to write this episode. The reason for doing so is quite a simple one, really. Their parents spoke about the hope that their children did not die in vain. It's all something that any parent would wish for. They hope that no other parent would have to go through the same pain that they're going through right now.
Yep, so we want to help share the message. Neither of us are in any way political. We're not going to get stuck into the weeds of what more the Lao government could be doing to police their bars or anything like that. Haim spent time in Laos, and I've spent years of my life travelling around its neighbouring countries like Thailand and Cambodia. We both got drunk in these countries hundreds of times. This could have been us. It could have been our kids.
Our job on this episode is to take a look at what methanol is, why it finds its way into some of our drinks, and what we need to be aware of to avoid any of our family or friends consuming it.
Okay, so let's get to the story. For anyone that has not come across this story in the news in the last couple of weeks, let me just quickly bring you up to date. The 6 tourists that were named at the start all died from a suspected methanol poisoning while staying at the Nana Backpackers Hostel in Vang Vieng in Laos last week. Having a night out, each of the tourists became unwell and were either found by the hotel staff in their bedrooms or managed to alert staff that they were feeling unwell. When they got to the hospital, their conditions deteriorated over a few days. The medical team have said that the causes of death were heart failure as a result of suspected methanol poisoning.
So what's methanol and how did it find its way into their drinks? Methanol is an industrial chemical commonly found in antifreeze, windshield washer fluid and paint thinners. It is not meant for human consumption and is highly toxic.
Medical specialists say drinking as little as 25 millilitres of the colourless and odourless methanol can be fatal, but it is sometimes added to drinks because it's cheaper than alcohol.
Methanol poisoning has long been an issue across Southeast Asia, particularly in the poorer countries along the Mekong River.
Vang Vieng is a party town. It has been a popular destination for tourists for quite some time. As with a lot of these party towns, bars will often offer you free shots as a means of getting you into their bar and keeping you there. These shots or drinks, with no labels and you can't see where they come from, are most likely the culprit.
How does it affect us if we drink it? The frightening thing is, at first, you might not realise anything's wrong. The harm happens hours later as the body attempts to clear it from itself by breaking it down in the liver.
Yeah, I read somewhere too, Haim, that the booze has to wear off first. It's not until that has passed through the system that the methanol starts doing the damage. You'd just feel like you had a really bad hangover at first, so you'd kind of miss the symptoms.
Yeah, and actually, as we'll get to later, the important thing is to act on the symptoms immediately. So if you're drunk and you don't even realise it, you've probably missed your chance. The metabolism creates toxic byproducts called formaldehyde, formate, and formic acid. These build up, attacking nerves and organs, which can lead to shortness of breath at first, then blindness, coma, and even death.
The formate in particular, which is the main toxin produced, acts in a similar way to cyanide and stops energy production in cells. The brain seems to be particularly vulnerable to this, which leads to certain parts of the brain being damaged.
So Vic, we've covered what happened, what methanol is, and how it can affect humans. Later on in the episode, we will offer some tips and best practices to avoid it and tell the best possible treatments if you think you've accidentally drunk it. But before we get to that, I thought we'd share some of our experiences of travelling in Laos and Southeast Asia. Stories like this that you read about on the news or watching documentaries always seem like they're happening to somebody else until they happen to you or someone you know or someone from your community. This could so easily have been you or me or anyone listening. How many times do you think you've drunk a drink whilst on a night out without even knowing what's in it, Vic?
I don't know how this wasn't me, Hamish, quite honestly. I have drunk so many drinks that I didn't know what they were in there. I've never checked. I drank from other people's glasses. I stole pints. I drank drinks bought by strangers. I did it all. I remember in Greece you used to get the free shots for the ladies when you used to go on holiday there. It was a method used to get more girls in the bar and, of course, get you spending more and staying there for the evening. I never checked what was in those. They just used to come out in a tray, get you into the bar, and you'd just do a couple of shots on the way in. As you know, Hamish, I am someone who swigged from a jerry can once. So, that stupid act in itself tells you that I would have drunk anything that anyone handed me.
Plus, I actually think, Vic, that there is methanol in petrol. I think I'm right in saying that. So you're swigging from a jerry can probably means that you would have actually consumed a little bit.
Oh, that is absolutely frightening. I think part of me didn't realise, Hamish, that I was kind of precious. Like now I have children, I understand that I was precious. And I think when I was a drinker, I didn't really understand the importance of myself and that people cared about me and my parents loved me. So I was just kind of taking drinks from trays, throwing them down my neck and not really considering the consequences for myself. I'm not saying that that's what other people do, but that's the kind of mentality I had at the time where I just trusted everybody around me and I was just having a good time. And there wasn't any thought behind it. I think I must mention buckets here, Hamish. In Thailand, there's also a drink which is whiskey with other identifiable liquids in it. It was a concoction that made me act completely crazy and gave me the worst anxiety the next day. I wonder if that probably had some in it as well. It did make me the drunkest I've ever been, and you never ever saw the man pouring from the certain bottles that were in it. But I never asked any questions. I am one finger down due to these questionable buckets. Luckily, that was my only injury. What I'm saying is, Haim, is that as a drinker, I never questioned what I was putting into my body. I'm surprised this never ever happened to me. I just presumed all alcohol was legitimate. I never heard of methanol, and I was living a carefree life. It was exactly what you said earlier. This will never happen to me attitude. Scary, really. What about you?
Isn't it? Well, I was going to say, considering both of us drunk heavily for a long time, isn't it, and travelled in countries like this, isn't it weird that we didn't even know this was a thing? I don't think I'd ever heard of methanol poisoning. We were so unaware of it until it hits the world news and it's too late, effectively.
Yeah, it's too late. It's too late for those girls now. And this is the importance of talking about these things. I did say to Hamish that I was worried about recording this episode because it all feels very raw, I'm sure, for everybody involved and everybody in the community that's dealing with the fallout of these deaths of these young people. It's absolutely terrible. But I totally agree. Hamish came on board and said, look, we need to talk about this. This is an educational episode to help others understand what this is and to do it in a way where people listen and go, look, maybe I do need to question what I'm doing in these countries sometimes, because we didn't either. So yeah, it is scary. Did you drink alcohol when you were travelling, Haim?
Silly question, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Every holiday that I've ever been on. And actually, it's funny you say that, the most drunk you ever got was Thailand, because the most drunk I ever got was Laos. It was drinking out of buckets. It was doing, the tubing where it's basically like a booze cruise on a river. There's bars all on the river and you hop in a tube and drink your way down it. It is actually now banned, I believe. I don't think tubing is still a thing, but I'm pretty sure that was in Vang Vieng where these tragedies happened. And yeah, it was the same with me. It was this Thai or Lao whiskey, which, they just poured quite generously into these buckets along with, I don't know, some sort of cheap Red Bull. And yeah, I think I told the story in the first ever episode that we did together where I ended up shitting myself, shitting the bed, throwing up everywhere, very little memory. I was dangerously drunk that night. And, it feels like, you can look back on it and laugh because you got away with it. But I was in a bad place that night and I was by myself as well. And, the prices of those drinks never really add up, but you don't ever question that. You're 18, 19-year-old traveling around somewhere and they go, do you want a free shot? Of course, yes, I'm broke and I'm traveling. Free shots are always going to be a yes, particularly if it's in a bucket if it's given out handsomely. I think we know that drinks in Asia are probably going to be cheaper than Europe. I don't know much about alcohol tax, but yeah, if you're traveling and somebody offers you cheap or free drinks, that equals a good holiday for us, as far as we know. And you're traveling. Like, traveling is about having a good time, and when you're a drinker, drinking is like having a good time equals drinking. We don't think about it too much.
Yeah, it's just how we socialise when we're away. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Exactly. And with that in mind, I don't blame anyone who's ever drunk methanol. And it sounds like you probably drank methanol at one point, accidentally drinking out of a jerry can. There's a kind of unspoken trust, I think you alluded to it earlier, between drinkers and those that serve alcohol, that what you're paying for or what you are being served, even if it is free, is safe. I think we can accept that it's probably cheap alcohol. If you get in a bucket, it's not going to be high end. But we never think that anyone would replace alcohol with a toxic substance called methanol just to make profits. That seems insane. I guess there's a kind of a level of trust in all of these environments. You assume that the food you're being served isn't going to make you sick. You assume that the drink that you're being served is safe alcohol. The idea that it wouldn't be you don't even consider that. I didn't even think that was an option. The truth is I've probably drunk alcohol without knowing what it is in practically every country I've ever been in. I was a big beer drinker, so beer you typically would be okay. But if I've ever ordered a shot or ordered a cocktail, you don't see that being made. That's just brought to your table, or that is just served across a bar. You're not seeing what's being poured into it at all. And that this isn't just for countries along the Mekong River. I know it was the same when I was at university in Newcastle. We had those trebles bars. Those are the places that you would get served 3 treble vodka Red Bulls, so that's 9 shots across 3 drinks for £4. Again, we knew it wasn't high quality alcohol. We knew it probably wasn't even real Red Bull in those drinks. But yeah, again, I was as drunk as I've ever been every single time I ever drunk those. Terrible hangovers, plenty of throwing up, plenty of blackouts. So this isn't just a thing, in poorer countries they do this. People are serving like filthy cheap alcohol everywhere, and if you're a student or you're a traveller, of course, those are the drinks that you choose. Obviously, also, the more drunk you get, the more reckless you get. I can tell you hundreds of times that I would be very drunk in a nightclub or in a bar or in a pub and see, or even a house party, and see like a half-drunk drink and be like, I'm having a bit of that. On your way out, you go, yes, I'll drink that. Someone's forgotten that, I'll drink that. I'll just, what do we call it? Do we call it mind sweeping? Is that
I don't know. I can't remember.
Is that the word for it? I think that was a phrase for it. But yeah, drinking other people's drinks when they disappear or leave a table unattended. I've done that hundreds of times, particularly when I'm drunk. I'm not really doing that at the beginning of the night. But I feel like, you've done that lots of times. I've done that lots of times. I'm sure anyone listening is probably nodding along, like, okay, I can think of plenty of times that this so easily could have been us too.
And actually, Hamish, you've just reminded me of the time where I always say I put myself at risk, but at the time I wasn't considerate of my own thought process behind any of my drinking habits. I remember another time in Byron Bay when I was handed a glass of wine. I hadn't drunk anything all day, and then I woke up the next morning and my friends have had to drag some guy off me on the beach, and nothing had happened, but luckily my friends caught me at the right time. But I possibly got rohypnol that night, but I had taken a drink off a stranger in a very strange situation where I didn't know anyone, and that was the result, and I could have possibly been raped. So there's so many things that happen throughout our lives, and that wasn't my fault. That was me trusting somebody that I thought was okay, and perhaps looking back, that is naive, and I guess with age we probably grow to know that that's not the right thing to do. But when you're in the moment like that and you're travelling and you're backpacking and everyone's doing the same thing around you, I totally agree, Hamish. You do have this level of trust. You trust the environment, you trust the people around you, and you trust the people serving your drink. There's no reason to question. I reckon every single one of our listeners, I'm talking to you, would be able to think of a time they've drunk an alcoholic drink without thinking twice about it. Like us, you've probably done it hundreds of times and woken up with nothing worse than a vomit-soaked pair of jeans and a nasty hangover.
What really shocked me, actually, Vic, when researching the story a little deeper, was not only that methanol poisoning was not uncommon in this part of the world, neither of us have ever even heard of it, but just how many deaths are linked to alcohol, okay? So I feel like you and I both work in this space, an industry of sobriety. We should probably know these things just off the top of our mind. But I'm going to tell you a stat now, Vic, which I think might make you a little bit sad, okay?
Gosh, yeah.
AI had the time of my life. AI never felt this way before.
From building timelines to assigning the right people and even spotting risks across dozens of projects, Monday Sidekick knows your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. One click on the star and consider it done.
And I owe it all to you.
Try Monday Sidekick. AI you'll love to use on Monday.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
So a report from the World Health Organization highlights that 2.6 million deaths per year were attributable to alcohol consumption. That number makes up 4.7%.
Wow.
4.7 of all deaths globally every year.
Well, that is massive, isn't it? So that's the
Isn't that
poison that we
insane?
drink on a day-to-day basis, the more normalised and more watered-down poison that our bodies are able to process a little bit easier. So it is a similar thing. It is ethanol in the purest form, but it's watered down with other sugary things to make it palatable and make us not die from it, which is crazy, isn't it? So it's kind of a different level of methanol, really, alcohol. Strange to think about that. That is so alarming. I just have one question here, Haim. Why do you think you just automatically, just going back to that trust thing a second, why do you think you trusted people that were serving you drinks in all those countries that you mentioned?
I don't know, honestly. I guess we've just got no reason not to trust them. Particularly, I suppose, you and I, we grew up in England, where it's a fairly, I guess, well-policed place. Is that the word? Maybe in terms of laws of alcohol coming in and out. There's a level of trust that this is probably good quality. I think it's also probably something to do with peer pressure. If somewhere like Vang Vieng, you're surrounded by thousands of tourists. Everyone seems to be having a good time. Everyone's drinking these drinks in every bar. If someone next to you has a free shot and you get offered one, you're certainly more likely to drink it. You feel like the bar people are there to sort of initiate the party and carry the vibe, to just ensure everyone having a good time. So I guess I never really felt like there was a reason not to trust them.
Yeah.
It just seems like the logical thing to do.
It feels like you're walking a very worn path, doesn't it? The travel routes are very similar. Like you go to Bangkok, you go to the islands, then you do your Laos, Vietnam thing. It's quite a worn path by a lot of people in the world. So there's a level of trust in that the people before you have been okay and survived and been all right and trusted and all of these things. So it's kind of like you're putting trust in an experience, which it sounds crazy now with this situation that's happened that you can't do that anymore. I think that's going to break a certain level of trust, which is actually really sad, and why we resonate with those backpackers, because we all would have done the same thing anyway.
Yeah. Plus also I think like alcohol is so widely drunk. Alcohol, I guess, in the eyes of society is not the dangerous drug. We know the numbers and we know the effect it can have on people, but it's not like you're buying drugs. If you're buying drugs from someone, I guess there is a level of like, okay, is this going to be safe? I'm taking a risk here.
Yeah.
Am I going to get what I'm buying? But with alcohol, you just assume, well, okay, this is just a cocktail. This is just a shot. How dangerous can it actually be? So I guess there's that as well.
Yeah, totally. The reason for this episode is to try and help. We hope that our Sober Awkward podcast is trying to get that number of 2.6 million annual deaths right down. But for this episode in particular, we are trying to help you. Whether you're a traveller, a worried parent, or someone who occasionally drinks from a glass that they don't know that much about, we want to help you. So what can you do to avoid ever being in a position when you might consume methanol? Obviously, being sober is the best way to guarantee that you don't come into contact with it at all, but that goes without saying.
The other way to ensure you avoid it is through ensuring the reliability and reputation of the source of the drink. Now, obviously, that isn't always particularly easy to do, but I'm talking about watching a sealed bottle being opened. I'm talking about a label that you recognise. Sometimes they get these sort of fake labels that look like they say Carlsberg, but they don't say Carlsberg. You've got to be aware of those. I'm talking about refusing a drink unless that is the case. And yes, we understand how ridiculous that might sound to a backpacker or someone on a budget or someone who's half cut anyway. Trust us, Vic and I would never have passed on a free shot when we were travelling or drunk. So we understand how difficult and irrational it might sound to go, hang on, let me watch that being poured, otherwise I'm not paying for it. We understand.
Actually, Hamish, I do that now. As a sober person, when I go into a pub, occasionally this has happened to me, where I may have ordered an alcohol-free beer and they've poured it behind the bar and they bring it to me in a glass and I have no label, there's nothing on there and I can't see what it is. I refuse it because I'm scared there's alcohol in it. It's not probably methanol in it, but I'm still scared of alcohol now. So I have to go up to the bar and say, can I see the bottle? Which bottle did you pour this at? And it might sound irrational, but actually it makes it clear to the person behind the bar for me that I don't drink and I can't make a mistake here. It's actually quite important. And you've got to make it important. Even with methanol, you've got to make yourself ask people the right questions in that situation and say, instead of just seeing it poured out in front of you and taking it, you've got to have a look where that bottle is coming from. Is it coming from a crate? Is the label correct? How long has the lid been off? It's really interesting. It sounds like it's going to take away something from your night, but taking away something from your night for that moment could save your life. That's how important it is. And your sobriety,
Absolutely.
exactly. If you're questioning whether it's an alcohol-free beer or not, that saved my sobriety many, many times as well. So it's just about taking a moment. It's like a craving almost, Haim. When we say sit with it and let it pass. It's one of those moments where you have to rethink the situation, ask yourself a few questions, have a look at the drink, and just take a moment from the normal process that you'd normally do when ordering a drink, and take a moment and think, is this okay for me to do right now?
Exactly. And I guess we have another rule, which is that any homemade drinks ever, anywhere in the world, I would argue, just say no. Because not only, they might not have methanol in, that's obviously pretty extreme, but you're never going to know how strong they are. So either you're drinking something that's going to get you far too drunk, or there is the risk in a country like this where they're replacing alcohol with methanol. So just don't drink homemade drinks. You don't need to. If you are a drinker, there's plenty of other drinks out there. They might cost a little bit more, but just don't take that risk.
Yeah, please be careful, extra careful actually when travelling to any countries like Laos as well that might have less strict environmental and regulatory regimes. The problem is the supply of cheap alcohol. It's the unregulated production of alcohol which is the real issue here.
Okay, so we know what we need to do to avoid it, but what if you're in a position when it's too late and you think you might have drunk some?
Yeah, great question, Haim. Right, as you might remember, the symptoms of having drunk methanol might not appear for 12 to 24 hours, and they are quite extreme when they do arrive.
These can include vomiting, seizures, dizziness, and changes in vision. The really important thing is immediate action if you suspect methanol poisoning.
I just have to have a question here for you, Hamish. All of those could be a hangover, couldn't they? Yeah. That's the problem, isn't it? All of those things, maybe not seizures so much and changes in vision, but I know I've definitely felt, dizziness and vomiting. I think that's partly the problem, isn't it? Is that you just think you've got a terrible hangover and you don't get help in time.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to, I guess, dissect the difference between I am really, really sick and I am hungover.
Yeah, totally. If you're experiencing any of these, we cannot emphasise how important it is that you act and act fast. Do not take things into your own hands. Immediately seek treatment in a proper medical environment. Now, it might mean that you haven't got methanol poisoning and you're in the hospital with a terrible hangover. Well, don't worry. I always used to worry about going to get therapy and things like that, thinking that I was wasting the doctor's time. But you're not wasting anyone's time. I think that's important to say. If you feel really ill, more than you've ever felt before with a hangover, it's important to be in the right place when you're feeling like that. And if it turns out, well, you're just hungover, well, brilliant. And you can go home and that's the end of it. but definitely go and get help if it seems more severe than usual, and specifically if those symptoms start to get worse over 12 hours since the last drink. Yeah. There are drug treatments that can be given, as well as dialysis to clean the blood.
Vic, I'm about to say something that is going to shock you, and I can guarantee this is the only time we will ever say this on the Sober Awkward podcast. Are you ready?
Yeah, sort of. I'm not quite sure what you're going to say.
I was pretty surprised when I read this. If you are experiencing methanol poisoning, in some cases, you should consume alcohol.
What?
Okay?
Really?
I know that is a weird thing to say. We are the Sober Awkward podcast. We're all about sobriety and sober curiousness, but honestly, drinking alcohol, in some cases, careful, can be the right thing to do if you are poisoned by methanol. The reason for that is that the ethanol in the alcohol will outcompete the methanol during the metabolism. So that has to be done really, really quickly. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're really, really sick and somebody goes, quick, drink alcohol to help. We certainly did that to get over hangovers, but yeah, that is genuinely like a doctor recommended thing to do in this situation. We're not talking about like leaning over the bed and picking up a bottle of vodka for a swig. You need to do this in a hospital or under professional surveillance. But yeah, that's the only time I think I'll ever recommend alcohol on this podcast.
Yeah, so actually you'd be in hospital already and they would probably put alcohol into your body to stop the methanol from working.
I think it'll be through a drip or something. I don't think they're just going to pour you a drink.
Yeah, that's scary to think that's how toxic that is. It's probably the only thing in the whole world that alcohol will actually fix. That's mental. Professor Alistair Hay, an expert in environmental toxicology from the University of Leeds, explained ethanol acts as a competitive inhibitor, largely preventing methanol breakdown, but markedly slowing it down, allowing the body to vent methanol from the lungs and some through the kidneys, and a little through sweat as well, actually. That's interesting.
Like we said, we aren't saying that if you think you've drunk methanol, then neck a six-pack of beers. Please go to hospital and let them administer it. We cannot stress that enough. The key is to get the methanol out of the body before it breaks down as fast as possible, because it's that breaking down process that is where the real danger lies.
Yeah, it's just so scary when it's different to anything else, because once you've consumed something, that's the problem, isn't it? It's not like falling over when you're drunk and hurting your knee, and like you can't get these things out. I wonder if being sick would help, Hamish. Like I wonder if vomiting, like we hate vomiting, and probably it would make you sick. Like I wonder if that would help or make things worse. I don't know.
I think probably not. I think by then it's already in the blood.
Oh, it's in the blood,
like the episode
right,
we did with Paul
bloodstream.
Dillon, like same with alcohol. Once it's in the blood and the brain, throwing up does not make you more sober. Throwing up does not get the methanol out. Like it's too late by that stage.
Yeah. Oh, it's just awful. Yeah, because once it's
I always
in
feel
your system,
bad.
Yeah.
Like about this episode, like, you know, as parents, we're already scared of our kids drinking because of the dumb shit that we did when we were drinking. Yes, you can fall, you can get hurt, you can get in a car, you can choke on vomit. I feel like we're just adding another thing to be scared of our kids drinking with methanol. We never even knew about this a month ago.
I totally agree. And you know what, Hamish? I think it's good. I think it's good that we're scared about it, and I think it's good that we're aware of it now and that it's in the news and people are talking about it. It's important, and it's important if we do send our kids away travelling that we know about it and that they heed the warnings. I'm talking to my kids about it already. They know what's happened. We've had chats. We're in Thailand. The girls were in, they were in hospital here. So it's been part of our conversation this holiday in the last couple of weeks, is talking about these girls, talking about what their parents are going through now. And George, I know, wants to become a dive instructor in Thailand for some years. And, I have to say to him now, like, you need to promise me. And we're bringing it into the conversation. And that's all we can do as parents, is bring it into the conversation, make sure those lines of communication are open and our children, respect our advice. Because I know there's a point when my parents would tell me anything, well, I'd just say, oh, fuck off, I can't listen to you. You're too annoying. But I think that's the importance of having a good relationship with your kids, is that they kind of have an understanding of what you're talking about and they know that you care about them and you're not just telling them advice to be annoying. I think I spend a lot of my teen years just thinking my parents were being annoying by not letting me out after 10 p.m. Whereas in fact they did it because they loved me, of course. But it took me far too long to realise that was the reason my parents were so protective of me. In fact, it took me until now. My poor mum and dad. Yeah. So it's important I think it's really great to talk about it. And I think that this happening, even though it's absolutely one of the most traumatic stories I've heard on the news for a very, very long time, it's bringing the conversation to light, which is important. I'm sorry that we've even had to record this episode, really. We know it's a serious one, and we wish that nobody ever died because of alcohol, particularly through methanol poisoning.
Yeah, exactly. So like more of an episode that we had to do than wanted to do, really. This has been huge in the news in Australia. You're in Thailand, closer to it. Has it been in the media there? Are they worried about publishing it in the news because of the risk of losing tourism? How's it been received there?
Yeah, it's been big news here. Methanol poisoning was in the Bangkok Post in August as well. 25 people were in hospital here with methanol poisoning then, and 2 died. So there was a mass poisoning here very, very recently. So it's not as uncommon as you'd imagine. I read today in this case there has been some arrests and the backpackers has been closed. The Laos government says that they are profoundly saddened by the deaths of the foreign tourists from drinking alcohol-contaminated methanol and pledged to prosecute those responsible. I mean, it is difficult for them because I'm sure they don't want their countries advertised as something, where people die, where travellers die. So it's very difficult for them too. The government has been conducting investigations to find causes of the incident and to bring the perpetrators to justice in accordance with the law. So we'll have to wait and see how that all unfolds. I think a good way to end this podcast, Hamish, is to quote Mark Jones. It's Bianca, one of the victims' dad.
He urged the Laos government to investigate this to the fullest extent to make sure this incident doesn't happen again. He then added, "We can't have the passing of our daughter not lead to change to protect others."
Oh, it gives me goosebumps, Haim. It makes me want to cry that. Let me just read that again. We can't have the passing of our daughter not lead to change to protect others. And that's why we're doing this podcast, because it has to lead to a change in people's attitudes when they're travelling to saying yes to those drinks, to those sort of drinks. I really hope it does change something. Our hearts are so with those families of the victims today, and we hope no other families have to go through this. It's just terrible.
We're not so naive as to think that our little podcast is even going to scratch the surface of this enormous issue. But upon listening to Mark Jones and the other grieving parents of these young adults, something struck a chord in us, and we wanted to do our bit to spread their message and their warning in the hope that it might help someone down the line.
We just hope that you come away from this episode having learnt something about methanol and the way it interacts with the human body. I think then we've done our job, don't you, Haim?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay safe out there, lovely people, and we look forward to joining you next week. If you're questioning your relationship with booze, you're struggling to moderate, or your hangovers are causing anxiety, it might be time to reach out for some support.
Yeah, just talk to a mate about how you're feeling, contact a local doctor, find an AA or sobriety group. Vic's got one.
Yeah, just head to www.cuppa.community.
Remember, if you're questioning yourself, it might be time to seek support.
Even though this journey can be awkward, it is definitely worth it. And if you've enjoyed the Sober Awkward podcast, don't forget to review it, rate it, and share it with your mates.
Do they have to share it with their mates?
Yeah, of course they do. I'm not doing this for nothing, Hamish. Bloody hell.
How do they share it?
I don't know, just write it on the document.
If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
So, as you probably know, my comedy memoir, 1,000 Wasted Sundays, is officially out. All my magnificent fuck-uppery in one awkward hit. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy, it's now available from all good bookstores.
We always say all good bookstores, don't we?
Yeah.
Are there bad bookstores?
No, it's probably ones with moody sellers.
Oh yeah, really depressed librarian folk.
Yes,
okay,
yeah. So there are probably some, but we're only storing it in the good ones.
It's only made it into the goodies.
You can also get it from all good online retailers. The print version and ebook are out now, and the audiobook will be available in March. I've been writing my memoir for 5 years. It will make you laugh, cry and cringe, and hopefully inspire a few people to reconsider their relationship with booze. If you love the podcast, then I think you'll love the book, even if I do say so myself. Hamish has read it. What did you think?
I feel like I know a little bit too much about you now, to be honest, Vic. Look, I really loved it. It was hilarious and surprisingly moving, but I feel like I've seen you naked in a literary sense. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah. From an emotional point of view, seriously, it wobbled my teeny weeny wooden heart, Vic.
Okay.
My teeny little wooden heart.
Well, his wooden heart is broken. Anyway, so if you do manage to get your filthy mitts on a copy, please do me a favour and head to goodreads.com and give me a review. Doing that will help me get it out there to those that need a bit of sober support. So there you have it. My story, unwanted warts and all. Come and get awkward with me.
Not to be too demanding or anything, but seriously, go and buy it now.
Go and buy it right now.
Yeah, don't just tell your friends, buy it, and then buy your friends one or two.
Yeah, don't give them a copy, buy it. Yeah.
And you know what? Don't be careful where you store it. If you lose it, you can always buy another 5.
Buy another one.
Yeah.